Question 2. Mr. Aaron BOK. President, in recent months, a number of accidents have been reported in Hong Kong involving vehicles gliding from behind with a roadside broken down vehicle or a roadworks vehicle. There are views that the absence of evidence of braking at the time of incidents among quite a number of the vehicles involved has raised suspicions that fatigue or inattentive driving might have played a role. In this connection, would the government inform this council, one, of the number of traffic accidents as well as the corresponding number of casualties recorded each month over the past 3 years involving vehicles gliding with a roadside broken down vehicle, a roadworks vehicle, or a shadow vehicle, with a breakdown by cause of accidents, location of occurrence, type of road uses involved, and severity of casualties? 2. Given that all taxis are currently mandated to be fitted with a tamper-proof journey recording system, whether the government will extend this measure to other commercial vehicles and comprehensively review the guidelines on bus captain working hours, rest times and meal breaks, as well as legislate maximum driving hours and mandatory rest times to prevent fatigue driving. And 3. Given that the UN and the European Union have already adopted statutory regulations mandating new vehicles to be fitted with a surveillance system that uses cameras to monitor the driver's fatigue condition through driving behavior analysis, whether consideration will be given to legislating the mandatory fitting of such systems in all newly registered private cars and commercial vehicles, particularly goods vehicles, buses and taxis. Secretary for Transport and Logistics. President, the government has placed great importance on road safety and has been taking multi-pronged measures to consistently strengthen the protection of road users. In consultation with the Hong Kong Police Force, the reply to the question raised by Mr. Aaron BOK is as follows. 1. In the past 3 years, that is from 2023 to 5, the recorded numbers of traffic accidents involving collisions with stationary works vehicles or escort vehicles were 6, 3, and 4 cases, respectively. These accidents resulted in 7, 3, and 9 casualties. Both the number of accidents and the number of injuries remained steady in the single digits. The locations of these accidents do not show a clear geographical pattern. From a more macro perspective, the number of traffic accidents involving fatal or serious injury showed an overall downward trend from 2021 to 2025. The Hong Kong Police Force and the Transport Department do not maintain records of accidents involving vehicles that stopped on roads due to breakdowns. When traffic accidents occur, the relevant departments will investigate the causes and study improvement measures. The Transport Department will also analyze the accident data at the scene of the traffic accidents to identify any obvious accident patterns or common causes, and follow up on improvement measures with the relevant departments and control area operators. The Hong Kong Police Force has already stepped up enforcement action continuously by launching large-scale operations targeting inattentive driving. Within this month, the police force has again initiated a special operation focusing on combating inattentive driving by commercial vehicle drivers. Publicity and education are of great importance. The Transport Department will continue to remind the trade through regular meetings with the commercial vehicle industry to avoid fatigue driving and to pay extra attention to roadworks and changes in road conditions when driving on expressways. We will also actively contribute to the Road Safety Council's promotion efforts targeting drivers. 2. Electronic data recorders, commonly known as black boxes, have already been installed or are in the process of being installed in most public transport vehicles, including buses, public light buses, and taxis, to enhance regulatory efficiency and road safety. We will continue to review the effectiveness of these devices and study whether it is appropriate to require other commercial vehicles to have black boxes installed. Regarding the working hours and rest arrangements for bus drivers, franchised bus operators are currently required to schedule working hours and rest periods for drivers in accordance with the guidelines issued by the TD to prevent driver fatigue. The TD requires franchised bus operators to submit monthly reports and will meet with them regularly and proactively conduct surveys to ascertain whether the relevant arrangements comply with the guidelines. Reports and surveys have shown that franchise bus operators' scheduling arrangements fully comply with the guidelines under normal circumstances, with an average compliance rate exceeding 99%. For the very few cases of non-compliance with the guidelines, the TD will require the operators to follow up on the relevant cases and rectify. 3. We are actively leveraging technology to enhance road safety. Currently, driver monitoring systems are being installed progressively in buses and taxi fleets to detect driver fatigue and issue alerts. At present, nearly 40% of franchised buses are already equipped with such systems. The TD plans to mandate the installation of these systems in all newly procured franchised buses, starting from July this year through franchise agreements. At present, all fleet taxis have been equipped with a driver monitoring system. When the system detects that a vehicle is deviating from its lane or getting too close to the vehicle in front, it will issue a warning to alert the driver. We hope that fleet taxis can serve as a model to encourage other taxis to follow suit. The TD will conduct in-depth study on the effectiveness, cost-effectiveness, and applicability of the driver monitoring systems to other types of vehicles and consult experts from the Road Safety Research Committee for a comprehensive review. In the second half of the year, we will also arrange to brief the panel on transport and consult members' views to form a comprehensive plan for review. 10 members have indicated a wish to follow up on the question. Please be brief. Mr. Aaron BOK, President. The reply is very comprehensive concerning franchise buses, taxis, taxi fleets, as well as public light minibuses. There are administrative measures only. Now, my question is whether there will be mandatory requirements through legislative approach, and also whether the arrangement will be extended to other commercial vehicles, mainly goods vehicles, and also the fatigue monitoring system should also be applied to all newly registered private cars and commercial vehicles. Now, it will not cost much. There will also be no concern on privacy, but they can effectively avoid accidents as well as, in particular, fatal accidents. So I urge the government to study on implementing the requirements soon. Secretary. Thank you, President. Concerning the questions raised by Mr. Aaron BOK, the government shares the same attitude. Now, we attach much importance to driving safety, especially commercial vehicle drivers, because they are frequent road users. If there are new devices or technologies to monitor the fatigue level of drivers and issue warnings, then these devices and technologies will be studied by the Road Safety Research Committee in due course. In the market, there are similar devices for sale, which can be installed in the vehicles. Now, besides driver monitoring systems, we are also actively exploring technologies including blind spot detector sensors, as well as auto braking system for vehicles. We will study the cost effectiveness of these technologies and the impacts on the trade and form a comprehensive view. Ms. Julia Lau. Now, advanced driver monitoring system can harness AI and cameras to analyze the facial expressions of drivers, line of sight, and driving behaviors to identify if the driver is feeling drowsy. So will the government launch a pilot scheme to encourage installation of this system in franchise buses, commercial vehicles, taxis, and public light buses? Secretary, according to our information, the Transport Department understands that some taxi fleets as well as buses have been installed with advanced driver monitoring system to enhance the identification capacity on road risk and the driver's behavior. Now, when we study the effectiveness of individual systems, we would consider whether AI is helpful in enhancing their effectiveness. We will encourage the industry to introduce these technologies based on their operational needs. Now, we need to encourage wider usage by the industry as well as more products to be provided in the market. We will also enhance our publicity and education. Now, the ultimate goal is to study whether we need to study legislative approach to mandate the use of these devices. Mr. Chen Xiu-Hong. Thank you, President. Now, the government vehicle fleet, whether owned by the government or rented, is huge. Now, will the government take the lead by including driver monitoring system as a mandatory or favorable conditions in government contracts? Secretary, thank you. To promote the application of advanced driving systems, there are a number of ways. Now, the suggestion made by Mr. Chen is also valid. Now, according to the Logistics Services Department, currently in the tendering documents for government goods vehicles, there are already conditions including the use of driver behavior monitoring system, on whether we can expand the scope to other government vehicles. I think the government's logistics department will consider that based on the availability of such products in the market. I understand that they are already conducting a market sounding exercise. Dr. Thomas So. Thank you, President. Now, the subsidiary legislation considering online ride-hailing vehicles are now being scrutinized by the Council. Now, 60 to 70% of ride-hailing drivers work fewer than 20 hours per week. They are mostly on a part-time basis. Now, that translates into a capacity of 6 hours of working per day, and this minimum working hour may be made one of the conditions for renewal of ride-hailing driver permit. Now, because these drivers are mainly part-time, after 8 hours of full-time work in a day, they may have to work 6 hours more in the night. Now, it is worrying whether the ride-hailing drivers will be able to maintain their attention while providing services. So in the initial stage, will the government proactively conduct research on the risk of fatigue driving by ride-hailing drivers so that roads will not be put at risk? Secretary. Thank you, President. Now, when we are scrutinizing the subsidiary legislations on ride-hailing vehicle, there has been a lot of discussion on that as well. Now, after the implementation of the regulatory regime, the platforms will be required to provide many types of data to the government. Those include the working hours and service hours of the drivers. So there will be data for us to analyze. Concerning Dr. So's concern, whether the working hours of the drivers will be longer than present, and whether that will lead to fatigue. Now, there is not a universal standard in the world. However, when we have gathered the data, we can make reference to them and analyze the data. So we look forward to hearing from members on how we can enhance the service quality of ride-hailing industry and enhance the health of drivers. Mr. Tommy Chung. Thank you, President. Now, concerning inattentive driving, some members of the public complain that drivers may place bets when they are driving. I have similar experience as well. I've even filmed a video and reported it to the police. However, there is no law to forbid that. So the cases went uninvestigated. So concerning high-risk behaviors during driving, including betting, is there a mechanism for passengers to file a complaint and punish the drivers? Thank you, President. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chung, for your suggestion. Last year, we have introduced a legislation to limit the number of electronic devices placed on the dashboard to 2 by drivers. Now, these behaviors you have mentioned may lead to inattentive driving, and it may be an element in dangerous driving whenever there is an accident. So I believe that the police has their own strategies to gather evidence against those behaviors. Now, according to the police has launched an express complaint channel for traffic accidents or traffic complaints. After filming the behavior, the videos can be uploaded to the police channel for follow-up. So we do encourage members of the public to help us supervise the driving of drivers. Mr. Adrian Ho. Thank you, President. Now, for example, bus drivers, some of them may choose to take up part-time jobs with different franchise bus operators. So each month, each week, and each day, the bus drivers would be working with different companies. It is difficult to take tally of their accumulated working hours. So has the government asked the franchised bus operators about the situation, and are there any ways to prevent bus drivers from driving under fatigue? Secretary. Now, concerning the resting hours, meal breaks, as well as working hours, there are a lot of guidelines which have been updated every few years. Second, concerning the bus drivers working for franchised bus operators, in the past there have been some shortage in manpower and recruitment. Now, in recent years, the manpower shortage for bus drivers has dropped to a record low. Of course, some bus drivers choose to become part-time drivers. So on that, there are safety officers in the transport department and the franchise bus operators. They meet regularly to review the safety and health of bus drivers. Now, technologies are important. The bus companies have introduced some advanced driver monitoring system to issue alerts to bus drivers. So fruits have been yielded. Mr. Mark Chong, President, in the past, we could only rely on random inspection or patrol by traffic police to identify fatigue driving by bus drivers. However, there are now new systems, including ATS, to help. Now, the government does not have a timetable to legislate for mandatory installation of these requirements. Now, can I have the timetable? Secretary. I think Mr. Mark Chong is referring to driver's assistance device and driver monitoring device installed in buses. Now, there's the bus driver management system, which can detect a bus making swift turns or traveling over speed. And the second one is a fatigue monitoring system. The third one is more advanced. That is the system to detect potential collision risk, and the system would advise the driver to take evasive action. Now, concerning the timetable, I attach importance to the timetable as well. I have instructed the Transport Department to expedite their review and study and submit the recommendations to the Road Safety Research Committee. It will be put on the agenda in the second half of this year, and then the proposals will be submitted to the panel on transport on the way forward. Now, your last question is about placing traffic cones on the road. Now, traffic cones have to be manually placed on the road. Now, hiring manual labor to place traffic cones on expressways may cause danger itself. Now, the Transport Department or the Highways Department are now piloting the use of robots to place traffic cones from the back of the works vehicles. We are now trialing that. Mr. Jimmy, thank you. There is no quantitative or accurate definition on fatigue driving in Hong Kong. Now, when there are traffic accidents, the government will usually punish the drivers through the offences of careless or dangerous driving or a points deduction. Now, in the mainland, there is a new rule to identify whether the driver is driving in fatigue through his lifestyle as well as other aspects of his life. Now, will the government make reference to the mainland's rule to provide more comprehensive guidelines for law enforcement? Secretary, I'm pleased to learn more from Mr. Jimmy after the Council. Now, several years ago, concerning the service quality and safety of franchise bus services, we have engaged the Polytechnic University of Hong Kong to conduct a research on whether we can quantify fatigue driving for more specific guidelines. In the future, we will continue to work along that line. Thank you.
質詢陳凱欣議員。